Hey, Elaine, hey, Eric.
What's up, everybody? I'm so excited for today. It's so
Yeah,
good to see you both.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met with the Platts here
How was it?
yesterday. Good, good, good.
How's the family doing over
Well,
there?
it's live stream. Is it okay to talk about it? I don't
Why
know.
not?
Okay. All right. Yeah, it was good. I think we had what, 15 people? Something like that. Yeah. I mean, they all met up for the first time also.
Nice.
Yeah. So Amit
It was
arranged it.
nice and empowering environment, I imagine.
Oh yeah. Yes. Yes, like people were sharing really deeply like the first time we meet. Yeah, like their life stories, but I think they're gonna make it regular, you know.
Sweet.
Um
I'm happy you
yeah.
went. Happy you got it like everybody and Amit organized all of it. I'm happy. That's
I
cool.
know. I'm gonna meet him again like for deeper conversation because there are lots of people. It's hard to know people individually so
Yeah,
much.
yeah. Sure. Of
Yeah.
course. It's cool. How are you, brother?
What ma- I'm okay, a bit like energy low, but I'm good generally. I'm
Yeah.
curious about the plats. What makes the plat the plat? Oh, okay. Are you familiar with what we mean by plats? To let's say no. I met a
Okay.
lot of people, wonderful people, but I don't know what you're talking about. Like when you talk about what makes one plat. Eric, you want to
What you mean?
explain?
Well, I think that it's it really is, bro. At first, it's just it's a membership, really. Uh,
Mm.
and the evolution of a real plat becomes the depth of the work that you decide to embody. And so I personally would call you a plat, bro, because of the commitment of work that you've created. Although you may not be aware of some of the teachings of Tony, you are
Yeah.
aware of the principles that guide us, which is really um the depth and layering. So like sovereign leader, like the I actually called this call today, sovereign leaders, empowering environments, and thoughtful disagreements. And why do I say that? Because I believe that that's what platinum uh community and that's what uh the seeds that Tony plants is to really
Mm.
integrate plats into sovereignty and true
Mm.
sovereignty. None of this competing sovereignty, right? Like sovereignty to serve together, to work towards natural law and integrate. But again, I'm very different. A lot of people don't think like this. So there is also the element of uh, being challenged, right? Or feeling competed because there's a lot of like trauma that's passed on, right? And so the environment is meant to empower each other from my perspective. However, some people don't. And that's okay as well. You know, it's a journey. That's what the bumps and the valleys are for. And so that's what I believe will make a plat. It's not just paying. It's not just paying to be involved into it's actually
Mm.
willing to embody and do the work.
Okay. Yeah, and I think people who have been through Tony's events find that after the events, it's hard to mingle with people who have not been because you Yeah, I
Yeah.
get start that. thinking differently, and you stop complaining and bitching about things around you. Um, yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is in from my perspective is like that still happens, right? Like
Well, true.
the
Yeah.
right? So if you're open only to one group of people and you're not opening yourself up to a community of opportunity, then you're closing yourself off to like-minded people just because they may have a different worldview, or maybe even a different experience or a different language, you're not opening yourself up to the pattern recognition. And that is, I believe, a limitation because I mean, everybody wants to be uh, safe. And I get that, right? But safety comes from being open, not from closing yourself off.
Mm.
Right? Like
True.
it's kind of counterintuitive, but that's what actually, if
Yeah.
you want to create a safe space, then you have to have that within yourself before you can actually feel safe, if that makes sense.
Mm.
Yeah, it's like freedom, it comes with full on sovereign responsibility. Which is like, yeah, I want freedom, what is on the other side is like full on sovereignty.
And and
Yeah.
also sometimes you have to go into battle. You have to be a warrior. You have to be so powerful in that sovereignty because a sovereign isn't just a sovereign. A sovereign is also a lover, he's a magician, and he's a warrior or she, right? So that means that when those different situations arise, you're willing to walk in front and be a warrior. It doesn't mean that you're scared you're scared of battle. It actually means that you're prepared for war. And
Mm.
so it means that there's a moment there where you're willing to be calm and you're actually avoiding battle. You don't want a battle. You're not interested in battle, but when war shows up, you are dangerously prepared because that is what makes a sovereign, like somebody that's free that wants to really hold into that space because you're not doing this for yourself. This is not about one of us. This is about all of us.
Mm. Yeah. I'm wondering how best to so I was at an event 2 days ago, but this is like the design community, okay? Like not Tony's community. It was a design community, and I'm one of the senior designers in the community here. So it was all the senior people. When I say senior, I mean not that old, but as an industry. So in that workshop, we're trying to predict the future in the next few years, how our industry is gonna change. So on a post-it note, I wrote buy Bitcoin or go broke. Right? And then
Prediction.
what? No, the
Very
thing
good
is like
prediction.
I mean skill is one thing, right? You know, you need to upgrade yourself, like learn AI, whatever. But at the same time, I think a lot of people in my industry are not aware of what's going on, right? So I just wrote that little post-it note buy Bitcoin or go broke. And I just want to see how people responded, right? Like as a joke almost, right? But it's interesting that a lot of people are like, really? So I'm trying to, because like Bitcoin is such a bad name, almost like these few years, like because a lot of people hear it on the news, right? Or on the media. I'm just trying to think like how to bridge the gap. Um, and I'm also sometimes a bit careful about who I talk to. Like I need to build the trust first before I say the word Bitcoin. Otherwise, it can go down the wrong path, right? Because people attach the word to scams or money laundering, right? So, yeah, I mean, even with the Platt community, I feel like I need to know them a little bit more first, before I tell them what we do, you know.
Yeah, I think it's healthy to have more information before
Yeah.
talking. It has to come natural, and what we talked earlier, that the Bitcoin is counterintuitive, period.
Mm.
And that's why it's denial as a first reaction. That's why skepticism is a second reaction. That's why curiosity, it's like it becomes later. So there's like levels of discovery.
Mm.
um, yeah, so like I totally understand what you're saying about that you need to build trust to talk about it, because like we even I've been in the Bitcoin space for quite a bit, and I still don't know a lot of things. So, and it's just like and at the same time, what Bitcoin is just is a simplicity. It's it's very, very basics of nature, literally, which is sovereignty, which is freedom. Freedom. Yeah, it's just, yeah, I get you there.
Maybe instead by Bitcoin, it's reclaim, your sovereign wealth or wealth, maybe it's I understand what wealth really is.
People don't get it yet, seriously. Yeah.
And yeah, it's just process, like people will get when people are ready.
Exactly, like the energy transition, right? So energy transition is really what it is. I mean, it's a noble cause that some people are predicting is almost 10, 20 years away. I don't believe that. I think it's bullshit. I think that the energy transition is happening now, and we have a choice, to step into it or not. And just like everything in the world or everything in our previous lifetimes or our predecessors or however you want to describe it, the point is that the people that are willing to be sovereign and lead first and go forward and build it are usually the ones that are pushed away, ridiculed, or made fun of, or all of that stuff for a very long time, until it starts to work, until they're not, and then they're considered geniuses, leaders, profound, responsible role models, things like this. And so the cultivation of this really allows us to manifest a true expression, so that we can identify by being an example. And it, from my perspective, Elaine, it's not about necessarily needing to get them to trust you. It's just trusting yourself. And then as a result, the right people will show up because they'll hear the depth of where you're coming from. And the wrong ones will have to do their own work, or maybe they're not even the wrong ones, they're just not the ones at that time. But in a year, in two, in five, they'll come around and they'll be like, wow, she was talking about that 5 years ago. And she was so open and straight and trustworthy and direct with that energy that as a result, in 5 years, when that button goes off or that switch hits, guess who's the first person that they come to?
Yeah. What one friend said, I think this sentence makes a lot of sense. People buy Bitcoin at the amount they deserve.
Yeah, that's what they have like everyone has a price.
Yeah. And some are
My
students.
price was around 27, somewhere there, maybe 30 something.
Really? Okay. Yeah, I bought it around 17K. But I knew about it when it was 500. I didn't do anything right back then. At Tony's event, actually. Yeah. But yeah, I think, it will come naturally, I guess.
Yeah, like somebody also like said, like once we go into this rabbit hole of Bitcoin, and it kind of it makes sense because I experienced it, because what it said like is Bitcoin starts doing its job once we have enough knowledge to speak from integrity and knowing, then it just goes on automatic. We don't need even to speak about Bitcoin anymore. It's just like we become that sound stream, information, and then like curiosity is always around. Like people will start recognizing, asking, and what Eric is saying as well, like it's a good point that I like I did the calls to my friends and family, you know, to check in with them if they are aware about Bitcoin, and if they say like no, oh, I'm too old or whatever it is about around that, I would be like, yes, it's cool. At least I told you, and now you do whatever you want, you know, like, so we talk in 10 years or 20 years, as Eric says, you know, but my responsibility is at least to check in with the people around me if they are aware, and if they're not, it's their choice, you know, to continue ignore it or like get some curiosity around it or not. It's like I cannot control it, but what I can control, I try to show up and you know, just
Hmm.
hey, hey, bro, hey, I'm going down the rabbit hole of Bitcoin. Do you want to jump in on the boat? Or no, okay, you jump in later. Okay, okay, take your time.
Right. Well, at least I try to tell them why, or I ask them like why they don't believe. Like one person, like after the event, I told him I wasn't kidding, you know, and I showed him Michael Saylor's video, and he was like, "No way, I'm bearish on Bitcoin." So
But that's a lot of right. So there is a lot of ego game, and Bitcoin is humbling. So then if people have stories of, and I'm talking about myself, right? It's a humbling experience to recognize that, okay, everything was bullshit what I was even trying to believe in. It's just like, okay, and let go of that. You know, it's a lot of internal process for the person you said that is, because it sounds like the level of ignorance is already boosted by ego. Like to say that I'm all like I'm bearish, like, so it's kind of not even like opening curiosity, but rather resenting, you know, the approach. And
mm,
Bitcoin is knocking in its doors, like, hey, hey, come on, are you ready, you know? And it's like, no, no, I'm not. I'm actually selling it, you know, like whatever. Like it's an ego, nothing else.
Mm.
It's ignorance.
yeah, well, we'll see.
And because of Bitcoin nature, is it has to be that this way. Otherwise it would be not healthy for Bitcoin if everybody would just suddenly switch and jumps on it. Like education first has to take place, knowledge has to recalibrate, and everything needs to fall into place for that switch to happen. And it's a natural filter. Nature selects in out in out in out in out. Okay, ready, not ready, ready, not ready, ready, not ready. It's happening.
Yeah,
I don't need
my
osmosis.
I think my mainstream friends in uh finance or real estate thinks that the US stock market is gonna collapse anytime now, because it's been going
Mhm.
up this way, right? You know, like have you seen the
Mhm.
Nvidia stocks went straight, so it's
No.
gonna come down anytime now.
Okay.
So the musical chair music is
Well, that's a great news. The sooner the better. You know, like the truth has to come out sooner or later. Like it's just like the truth always finds the way out. It just doesn't matter. You know, like if people are who in control tries to sugarcoat it, make a stories around it, is just sooner or later is
Mm.
gonna happen. What you're saying. And it's good that this time we have Bitcoin that is a soft cushion for the world, that we have the solution where the world can fall and be caught. And instead of falling and dying, we have already a tool that is going to drive us and help us to, yeah, like we have a vehicle, the spaceship, brother, that is going to catch the Earth. Yeah.
Yep. No, Noah's Ark.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think not enough people knows about this yet. Seriously. And if it goes too fast, then a lot of people will be screwed, and it's not going to be a safe place.
Yeah. We need to learn how to use it. Yeah. Yeah, but there's a lot of cool, you know, development
How
on that.
is
And that's what what's beautiful with Eric about sovereignty and like what environment for sovereignty, we see that very beautiful how people, once they discover Bitcoin, it's not even a sovereignty about anymore. It's just people starts taking responsibility and step in their actions and following their hearts and executing and we're still living in not sovereign society, not sovereign environment. But once the individual is sovereign, it starts just taking different actions, vibrating in different frequency. Yeah, fear. What is fear in that state? Like it's nothing. Love is a power for actions. So it's just beautiful to see how the drop in the sovereignty liberates persons or like people around. And like me and Eric, we do these calls not because we sell Bitcoin, not because we have that energy, we have that knowledge that it needs to be used. It wants to be free. Information wants to be free. That's so it's just like that's what's happening.
Yeah. So Eric, I drew that diagram of how the message may be, better unveiled in layers, right? Like the bottom part is, I think people come in if they want to work with us is more they want to preserve wealth first, and then they'll discover about integrity, and then they will discover about spirituality. Because I think if the whole message is collapsed into one, they'll be like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but this
agree, and I like the way that you're funneling that message logically. I guess, I'm thinking of the blending of it right off the hop, like they're already at the experience or they're with us. And so that is an opportunity, I believe, that, helping that, like you said, meet them where they're at. Because I could come in a little bit high level very fast, uh, which is just my nature. It's like
Because you're there already. But a lot of people are
yeah.
not yet. Yeah, there's
yeah,
still
but
in
it
the
has to be natural. But yeah,
fear
what Eric is
space,
saying,
right?
it has
Nervous and curious space right now, I think most people. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
it's it's
like
creating that
but I
curiosity.
feel, Eric, you coming from your nature, and that's why I think you should come from your nature, like, and because you can stand for your word. You don't need to create like for like if you talk, Eric, in the room, you don't need to have those messaging around like to make it softer, to make it, because you can hold that all space. If whatever needs to challenge you, like with their beliefs, everything, you can welcome.
Yeah.
And think about the person if sitting in the room and he is ready to jump on like knowledge and studying Bitcoin full time, and then you're trying to deliver message piece by piece, then the person doesn't get maybe the nature coming through. So I think it's a yes and like, and I think we have to feel from the hearts, like Elaine, you're doing those, the structure is perfect, there it goes all in perfect, like there's no way, there's many.
Yeah, I think the different people have different speeds, you know. Yeah. Depends on what they already know or not
Yeah,
also.
yeah,
Mm. So
Yeah.
how's Portugal? I mean, are is Portugal Bitcoin friendly at all?
yeah, to some degree, I guess. Like the mainland is more rough. Madeira is more open for that for some reason, because they are out of European Union, or like they are a part, they have something in between lines we can do. The mainland here, yeah, there are a few places only where accepted Bitcoin is accepted. I don't know much
Oh,
more than that. Like as I say, my intention is like I use Bitcoin very little. I use as much as I need, you know, to put the petrol, to buy food, and that's it. So like I convert it into whatever currency, and I don't even bother, you know, much about it. Like, no.
Mm. How about, do you guys know about Estonia?
No, tell us more.
No, I don't.
Um, okay, me and another friend was talking about uh other countries of residency, like who that
Mm.
are more Bitcoin friendly, maybe El Salvador or because Estonia, I've been there a few years ago because before COVID, they have something called e-residency. Like, did you know like their country, like in recent history, they got kind of destroyed, and then the government is very advanced. Like they're all digital. And then they offer like e-residency to any to like people because they want to attract investment, right? So I was just looking at that and yeah, discussing with my friend about it.
I have a residency for Estonia, but I never used it. I just made it for myself, just in case I was wanted to
Oh,
move my businesses.
oh, okay. Okay. Because they have very low
Because
tax compared to others. But because like in Eric, in Canada, they're raising the taxes.
of course they do.
I think it's gonna keep happening. I mean,
Hey, that would
where are they gonna find the money when they keep printing money? They just have to raise taxes on people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's
well,
the thing
so I
is
like the
like,
way Salvador president said, you know, taxes is just illusion that people are funding the government, which is a fucking mindfuck, really cool one. Because government just can print a unlimited amount of money, so why do we need taxes in the first place? It just
Mhm.
doesn't make sense, you know. Like, and of course, there is a lot I don't
That's
know,
true.
but it's just yeah, not very transparent game going on there. That other game is very not transparent, and I don't play it.
Mm, right.
It's boring.
it's a shame
But
that, I mean, it's sometimes it's like, why do people feel they need to go through such, like, I was having a conversation the other day, and a friend of mine, he's like, I don't know if I can give up my own greed right now. And I looked at him and I said, really, bro? Like,
Cannot
you
give
have
up their
kids,
what?
his own greed.
Oh, greed. Okay.
And I said, really, bro? Like, you have kids. You have,
mm,
your kids are in their 20s. They're gonna have kids maybe in the next decade. Like, that's the wealth. That's the real abundance. This illusion that you're thinking of your own greed, it's a house of cards that's about to fall apart.
Mm. You know
And
all. Mm-hmm. Good.
and I find that this is something so scary because people really don't understand the value of themselves. They don't understand their own value of their own true nature. They don't see themselves. They don't see their own wisdom, their own graciousness, their own kindness, their own ability to step up and stand up. And it's why the system has been so able to manipulate and be strengthened because it's based off of greed and fear. And
Mm.
it plays to the emotional disparity of people's need to feel safe instead of empowering them and creating an environment for that safety. It's created a level of element of security just for oneself instead of seeing how we can literally create an economic prosperous community, nation, planet by looking after each other. It blows my mind. It blows my mind.
Hmm. Have you seen I think there's a trend amongst young people. I think it's all over the world, like China, Hong Kong, even other places where the younger generation is no longer motivated by material things. They've because they can't afford anything, right? You know? And there's a phrase called they're like just lying down. They don't want to get married. They don't want to have kids. They have very, very low desire to make money, right? So they just survive on like the lowest denominator is what's happening now with the younger generation. Yeah, in the 20s, right? So it's
Well,
not
when
no
you
longer fueling the economic, engine, right?
and when you create a disempowering environment, why the fuck would anybody want to be involved in that?
Mm.
This is why sovereign leaders are so important because they create empowering environments. They are willing to listen. They are willing to ask questions. Whereas this dictatorships or these governments that are facades of a system, they create fear and disempowering environments to help people become more slaves.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. So the young generation are not doing any of that, right? They don't want to. They minimize all their desires, so they go spiritual. Um, yeah,
It's
really
just,
see.
like, yeah, it's an interesting like butterfly effect what's going on with the younger generation. And the level of hopelessness is just huge.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, who can
like,
afford
yeah,
to buy an apartment, even, right? It's crazy. Yeah.
yeah, it's and the how normalized all it is just sick. How normalized this to work for two works and not have money, not have financial stability is just, it feels like, oh, that's the way it is. It's like no questions asked, like I'm gonna take another job to create more misery, kind of.
Mm.
It's just so sad and painful. And yeah. And when you say nobody's doing, yes, there is a lot of young people who are in Bitcoin, a lot of young people who are on Noster, and the community is expanding. The platforms of social media platforms keep on canceling people, keep on pulling or whatever kind of bullshit rules and regulations, where people just walk away from that platform with all their followers to Noster, which is completely decentralized and stuff.
Mm.
So it's shifting, it's constantly shifting, and there is a lot of cool people discovering Bitcoin and Noster every day. So one day it can be huge shift,
Mm.
like by some person that is famous, gonna bring like million of his followers or her followers to Bitcoin space in one day. It can happen. We don't know
Yeah,
that. It can happen any day. The same like stock market can collapse, the Bitcoin can become popular in one day, literally. So,
true. Yeah,
gradually, then suddenly.
I remember the moment where we all shifted from Yahoo to Gmail. Do you remember? Like, there's this one period when everybody just like shifted over, and
Mhm.
yeah, that's probably gonna
Yeah.
happen. So
And
how
like, yeah,
how do you
sorry,
use
go.
Nostr, by the way? I've
How?
downloaded, but so is it just like a WhatsApp or the just messaging?
It's like
It's
it's
decentralized.
it's it's the same like social. Yeah, it's the same like social media. Any social media network,
Yeah.
the same. Just doesn't have, is just decentralized, and there is no algorithms that tries to sell you someone. So if someone
Right.
is like like creating algorithms, then we have to put the work, and we They have to figure it out that, and then you can always, if you don't like that algorithm, you just mute it or take it away, whatever from your so you have a full-on control of, like what is full of control of your network, full on control of people you don't want to be a part of. You can choose a way.
Right.
I'm not technical enough to guide it how to do it. I'm using it for myself, like pretty much that if I like, so I made this with Noster, I make different approach than I did with Facebook or whatever. Like in Noster, I choose to follow people only when I meet. So we connect, I verify the person, then I know you are this. Or, like I know the person because with AI, what's coming is going to be clogged with people, multiplied
fake.
people. And yeah, exactly. And Noster is just like, it's safe space from that. If I have my network that I connected, I can use it. Doesn't matter how stormy world is of artificial intelligence, how bunkers it all goes. I feel I'm untouchable there. Like I can connect with my people directly. There's no possible.
Are there groups in Noster, or it's just one-to-one?
There is different kind of clients that could be looked as groups. You can create your client, which is an interface for the user experience, and there is a bunch of those, but the core system is the same. So you can change the client, like you could change between, for example, Facebook and Instagram, but you would still have the same information, still have the same contacts, still have the same. So you can flip from one to another to find there are some clients that are more pro pictures, like for photographers. So that kind of it becomes, it's in development phase. It's only 1 year old technology, and so it's evolving, and there's like people constantly developing and openly, like we do, developing communities here. There is people who does that for developers, like daily calls or whatever, and they talk about technical stuff, how they jam the ideas, how to make it better. Someone listens, oh, I can make this, and just making it better and better every day. Make it more like it's co-creative social network. Like whatever we make out of it, that's what it's gonna become. It's so simple it is. And yeah.
So it's no longer the like advertising model that was that the social medias were run on before.
No, there is no owner of Noster. There's no organization that would be owning Noster and could control.
Oh, okay, interesting. So it's
it's a protocol. It's like Bitcoin. It's like Bitcoin, the same. It's a protocol, the same principles, same values, just a social network.
Right. Interesting.
The Bitcoin is for economy. Noster is for connection.
How do I find you guys there? How do
I can send you my Noster account key. Yeah, it's like a key as well.
It's just like one line, like the wallet
code. Yeah. And it's the same, like not your keys, not your wallet, not your keys, not your account, like, so you have to have your keys. And that's, yeah.
Okay. Well, but is there a private and a public one?
Yeah.
Key?
Yeah.
Is
private
there
is for you, private key for you to sign into a new client, for example.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's the same, like if you would go from one wallet to another in Bitcoin, right? You can, in Bitcoin, you cannot delete your wallet in Bitcoin. It's just impossible.
Right.
So you can open that wallet or access that wallet, whatever we call wallet. You can access that with on different protocol interfaces, which is clients again, like a Blue Wallet, like whatever is there.
Yeah, I'm on there for a bit, but I don't know who to talk to. Like I have no friends here.
So the way I see, I just write notes, whatever feels coming from me, and whatever I want. I don't expect anything from anyone, so I just share. I kind of write it for myself, whatever I want, and then people take it or leave it. It's not it's not a game to chase. Like I don't need followers there. And like it doesn't matter for me the followers. If you want to follow, they follow. Yeah, but I keep it as a social network where I can connect with Bitcoiners, especially because it's like that's our
And how
network.
do you can you send Bitcoin like Bitcoin, is it
Satoshis.
a Lightning wallet also?
Yeah, so instead of there is a possibility to zap. So you can send 20 or 1 Satoshi, doesn't matter. So
Oh,
it happens value exchanging on the spot. If your note is it adding value to me, I will zap you. Like if you post something that inspires me, reminds me something, whatever value it is, I learn something, I zap you. Like for
oh.
example, today I don't use information for free anymore. Like in that case, if I like today I took a screenshot and I sent to my brother one I took from Noster. So I already used that information. So I zap immediately the owner of that note. It gave me value. I gave someone else and I gave back to him, or her, I don't know.
So do
Yeah.
you have to set up your own node?
No. You can.
Okay,
It would be better, for the same like with Bitcoin. But
I
you don't
see.
need to. Like there is a
Okay.
level of those. I'm not technical enough to answer, but like do you have to or do we need nodes? I think yes, at some point I will definitely have my node both for Bitcoin, both for Nostr, like because I'm gonna develop and I need to learn those stuff.
Okay.
But this is more when I'm gonna start using Bitcoin, and it's like I'm not bothered about it yet.
I
Yeah.
see. Yeah. Okay. I'm on the snap screen, but it's nothing, so I don't know what to do with it. Yeah. Maybe I'll go
If
on
you go
YouTube.
to if you go to Primal and you get Primal the app,
Primal?
yeah,
Okay.
it's an app on your phone. You can get Primal. It's pretty self-explanatory to be able to integrate Noster into that app, and then you can use it in just like you would use any other social media. You get to set up some sort of a wallet on there,
Oh,
and
so you
then
need two things to work together, Nostr and the Primal app. The
Noster
Primal
is
The,
Noster is powered by Primal. There's different apps, but Primal is the one that we've used or I've used because Sakita's
this one?
it
used it.
works.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Primal Wallet. Yeah. And that
Mm.
was the easiest for me. That's the only one that worked. And now I know I haven't checked others, but it seems like others also. This is the client. So Primal is the client of Noster.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We'll check it out.
And they all in development by people who doesn't get paid for that, but people who contribute. They share. Yeah, like
Mm,
developers support each other.
cool.
Yeah.
Mm, all right.
I'm
So,
curious. I'm curious about so with regards to kind of the writing part that you
mm,
say preserving wealth. Uh, you left some notes there. I'll have a look at today.
mm.
Um, and yeah, I'll send you over some of my ideas, and then we'll just keep plugging away at it.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's interesting. I think talking to different people, there are different readiness, right? Like if you can just draw a line, there's like the maximalist and then the dubious on this other side, and there's like different levels of readiness, right? Um, so yeah, it depends on who we want to target, really.
I also think that there's people that talk like they are maximalists, but then you listen to them and you realize that or they say they're maximalists, then you listen to them and you realize they don't have a clue what they're talking about.
Mm.
I mean, we were in that conversation last week together, and I mean, from my perspective, I didn't. It was a very clear like if La was on in that conversation with us, he would have
Which one?
really he would have really educated. We were on a call with the gentleman, Elaine and I, that was saying things that just weren't true. And
Mm.
uh it didn't align. You could sense the misalignment in our conversation as we were sharing kind of what we were up to. But then the anger and the confusion that showed up in the space, from my perspective, and Elaine, I don't know about yours, but from my perspective, it felt very aggressive and very out of alignment, and uh whereas when you're doing this and there's nothing to be aggressive about. Like,
Mm.
there's nothing to be upset about. There's nothing to be worried about, because you're coming from such a sound principle. Uh,
Was it the
and
venture call Saturday?
no, it was the private call we had with the copywriter.
Oh, Adam, you mean? Yeah.
No,
Oh no,
with
what's his name?
Glenn.
The Morocco guy.
No, with Glenn.
Oh, Glenn. Oh, Glenn. Oh, yes, he was a bit pushing back, right? Oh, Glenn. Yeah. Okay.
It just didn't align, right?
Mm,
And he has his own perspectives, and I don't. He said he's a Bitcoin maximalist, but it didn't make sense to me.
right.
It
Yeah.
didn't feel like he actually is a Bitcoin maxi, because a Bitcoin maxi would have, from my perspective, would have a lot of awareness around the responsibilities of all of these things that he was sharing, which weren't,
I think he
from my
was worried.
perspective.
Yeah. He was worried, right? About taking a stand. He was.
He was worried about taking a stand and privacy,
Mm,
Mm.
right.
and not
Hmm,
believing and using the words Bitcoin and crypto interchangeably.
Mm.
mm.
And so when we asked if he wanted to be involved, he said he's very excited for what we're doing,
Mm.
but essentially the actions were just like, oh, I don't know if I can help. So actions speak always louder, right?
Mm.
Mm.
I think it was because the Roger Ver was arrested, right? I think he was a little shaken by that.
Yeah, so isn't Roger Ver the guy from BSV?
What was this guy? If I can show my screen.
Uh,
The Bitcoin Jesus person?
Oh shit, I just removed her. Oh my goodness.
Bring her
Oopsies.
back.
Can you come back? Sorry, Elaine. I was just showing like,
Is that a heart behind you? The waist? Nah, it's not. Okay, I see. I thought that's a heart shape. Ways.
I think I pressed the wrong button. Oh, I feel bad.
Maybe she can come back. I'm so happy that she shows up every week. It's so cool.
Oh my goodness. I said I removed her, and so we have to go back out and back in.
We all?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. because
Okay,
I
so
removed.
she was like,
'Cause-
also she was about to show something which I think is not, would be not appropriate to do it in a live. So maybe we can just wrap the conversation for live and jump on that.
Okay, I'll see you guys in a moment. I'm gonna send you guys a new link.